games against Millenium coming in here from Supa Hot Crew.
Well, Fizz, as you mentioned, Mundo also taken away. And this is what we talked about. Focusing on Mimer. So this could put him in a dangerous situation. Zillion taken away. We saw Kerp pulling that one out back in the quarterfinals to not great effect. Maokai finally banned out. Nidalee is available. Let's see if Mimer wants to go for it. As you mentioned, Kassadin also out there for Selfie. We saw this as the bait they had before.
Yeah.
Kassadin was first picked by Legacy a few games ago.
And was first picked by Supa Hot Crew in the first game against Rocket, where Rocket just went Elise, Oriana, and went for this fast push setup instead. And Kassadin never had a chance to actually scale into late game. He just sat in the lane, he had no wave clear, and just lost his towers left and right. It happened for the team as well, and they were completely outpicked in the game. So, not expecting Kassadin just yet from Supa Hot Crew.
Well, there is the cow in that top lane. Or will it be support for KaSing? KaSing did try it, of course. It does give options, and we talked about it. There is Tristana. It seems that Creaton wants to go towards that one alongside Kha'Zix.
Really like that. We get some hyper carries on the board from Creaton from the start.
Get the Rengar Kha'Zix going here.
We could. Oh yeah, Impaler of course loves to play Rengar and is priding himself in the fact he was a better Rengar player than Kottenx. So maybe he wants to pull it out now and really show it. But Kha'Zix has really come up as one of the main junglers now in Europe because there's like been changes and nerfs to all the other junglers, and Kha'Zix now with the evolved W, started by Diamond actually, is very strong because you poke a lot, you don't focus on like just all-inning, except for if you get someone low enough, then you jump in with the all-in, but you provide some wave clear, you actually very safe. You can even counter jungle because you can jump over walls on the Kha'Zix and just focus on poking from range with the W and then steal the camps. So it's been one of the main jungle picks in Europe the last few weeks here, and of course Tristana for Mr. Creaton. He doesn't want to deal with their mid-game pressure now. Now he just has a very bad mid-game compared to what he has before.
So massive amount of crowd control for the Supa Hot Crew now as Elise and Morgana also get locked in. So stuns all around right now.
Yeah, and it's just such a good setup when you have Elise and Morgana together because you have this double bind or double snare you can have, lock down one target. And also because it means you now have a comp which can do multiple things. You can siege up a tower because you have disengage from Morgana, because you have range from Elise, and of course because you can land CC on the tower if people are trying to wave clear. At the same time though, you can also split push again because you have so much disengage from Elise. You can also play a pick comp now all of a sudden because you have so much single target CC you can land, also of course with the cow in there. So Morgana and Elise has just been one of the best combos you can make in terms of jungle and support. And Supa Hot Crew can be very happy with the pickup here. And of course means it's going to be Alistar top lane and not support.
So at the moment, Nami being hovered over. What will they go with? It's going to be Lulu. That could well be for Kevin in the top lane, I feel. So he has adjusted. We'll see whether it works out okay for him. Could come in lane for Kerp, but I don't see it.
No, I don't really see Kerp playing these utility mid laners. One of the reasons he seems to dislike Oriana as well, for probably the same reason. He wants to be the guy who can really carry, wants to be the guy who can snowball the game. And if it's off a top lane, against Alistar, it should mean Kevin can just push down the lane 24/7, poke from range, and Alistar should never be able to kill a Lulu because you have so many shields, you have your wild growth, and you can just kite him around as well once the knock-up ends. Therefore, the Lulu pick should mean Millenium can apply a lot of pressure in this top lane.
Let's see if that gets locked in or not. Lucian, nope, gonna get switched to Kog'Maw. Will Katarina be picked out here for Selfie? Could be an interesting one, and more importantly, has MrRalleZ been practicing in the break, and has he adapted and finally switched over to Kog'Maw?
He didn't play it a single time in the quarterfinals. 2 times Supa had to ban it, which meant Rocket picked up Maokai as their first pick, and 2 other times he was left open and Selva picked it and just destroyed the Supa Hot Crew. So I really like the fact that MrRalleZ has adjusted his pick here, and also like the fact that Millenium possibly were baiting out this Oriana.
Yeah, so Katarina was switched to Oriana, still gives them a massive amount of shields, crowd control, heals. This is a very similar team comp to
what Rocket ran.
Trying to think, yeah, what Rocket ran. It's pretty much the same.
It is.
Yeah, it is Rocket's comp.
It is actually Rocket's comp right here from game one against the Supa Hot Crew. They figured out that worked pretty well. We didn't know what to do against it. Let's just pick the exact same comp for us. And let's hope they've actually practiced it, because no Rengar now from Impaler. He's on to Elise. He needs to do what Jankos is doing. And when you have the lanes pushing down to the towers, he needs to move between them and get these towers down early, and therefore get the big goal lead. And then, of course, you need to be careful on the other side, because there's a Talon. And Talon can destroy your AD carry in just a matter of a few seconds, especially once it gets brutalized and Last Whisper, and it will deal true damage to your AD carry. So Kerp here, as we like to see, Mon Assassins need to snowball, but also really opens up for Impaler to say, I'm going to focus this mid lane, because shut down Talon early on, and it's going to be hard for him to do anything.
Well, it's going to be very hard for him to catch on to him, though. Tristana's a slippery little sucker to jump on, and when you've got that much CC around you, as well as the headbutt pulverize coming out all around, we'll see how it works out. More importantly, we're going to see how Mimer works out on Alistar as a champion. Of course, we saw a lot of last week. Worked very well for Xaxus. A lot of people discussing, of course, the Trinity Force Standard Shift, Frozen Heart. We've also saw Impact, of course, going Rod of Ages, going to the mage side because he had an AD mid. But I expect to see possible Trinity Force coming out here.
It should be because you have Oriana mid lane, so you already have some magic damage. Therefore, Trinity Force is the first item from Mimer expected.
So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Game 1 underway. This is the 5th place playoff position. Supa Hot Crew versus Millenium. And this is an important game for the two teams. Of course, this is a best of 5. We are on 4.13. So all of the changes. Supa Hot Crew, well, they have mimicked exactly what Roccat played against them in the quarterfinals game 1.
100% here, and it means Supa Crew has an insanely strong teamfight comp here. Even the mid game, it's actually fairly decent for them, and then late game, of course, they will be pretty strong, both with Selfie and MrRalleZ here. And then you have their Elise, you have the Morgana to set up picks to also disengage. And of course, Mimer, who can actually do some split pushing on this Alistar and then TP in, join the fights. And if you look at on the Kerp side, or for Millenium with Kerp on Talon, you can split push, but against an Alistar who has 70% damage reduction, it's not going to be easy to kill him one-on-one unless Kerp can jump him twice. Otherwise, we actually might see Millenium focus on teamfights themselves once they get to a late game point, because Creaton needs to scale up to the late game.
We'll see how it works out at the moment. No signs of an invade for either team. MrRalleZ looks like he's going to switch lanes, though. You can see the straight away there. Did they have vision of it? I think they did. I think they saw the lane swap coming.
So this is very, very smart by Supa Hot Crew, especially because Tristana and Nami is such a good poke lane early on. You have sustain, you have a lot of damage from Creaton, and of course Jree can even join in because you max your W on Nami, so you have some decent poke as well. So smart enough here by Supa Hot Crew to actually go for the lane swap. The only problem could be when actually the lane swap against Roccat, in every single game they played in the quarterfinals, they end up losing out on it because they often they let Mimer like 1v2 the bottom lane, which simply meant he always got denied a lot of farm and he fell very far behind, and then he had 0 impact in the games.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be Kottenx starting out the blue buff. It's a red buff start for Impaler. Looks like they're going to be running that buddy system, while Kottenx is all on his own, because you can see Kevin is actually up soloing out the golems. I think he was just up on the top there, so he will go about. No, he didn't. He just stayed a hell of a long way back and actually protected the red buff. Sims was expected to maybe invade there. They didn't have any vision of it.
Yeah. Didn't have any wards in the jungle of Supa Hot Crew either. We actually saw Jree run in to check the red buff to see, okay, he saw it was gone. He knew now. Supa Hot Crew started their own red buff. Don't worry, they're not in our jungle waiting for Kottenx to kill him. Because that was a tactic in the quarterfinal used by SK Gaming to heavily invade on Kottenx all the time, kept running into his jungle. Svensson kept going in there with help from his side lanes to try and shut him down, because Kottenx is so important for Millenium. They do have strong laners, but he's always the guy who helps really snowball in the lane. He's the guy who really helps getting the kill in the lane they need to take control of the game and get these objectives we always talk about, because Millenium as a team, they have to get kills to get objectives. They don't outsmart the enemy team. So it's going to be a lot about Kottenx.
Well, there's a lot of people gathering in this top lane. KaSing taking a fair bit of punishment. Kevin sidestepping just around there. They're looking at the tri-bush. Mimer and Impaler, they're going to walk straight onto Jree. They're going to see them. Kottenx just over the side there. Jree does spot them out. Quick ward placements will stop that attack dead in its tracks.
So a lot of people up in his top lane here to help Kevin pick up some farm, while Mimer is still running around the jungle. Now he's going to TP down to this bottom lane. I was about to say he should probably get his ass down there, otherwise he will lose out on a lot of farm. Of course, Creaton is not really able to punish him one-on-one on the tower, so it should be a lot of farm and XP now picked up by Mimer.
So, at the moment, say Selfie in that mid lane. Supa Hot Crew currently farming up fairly well. They're going to keep the pressure going in the mid lane as well. It's interesting to see how this Talon Orianna is going to work out for them, though, because obviously We did see Selfie pick up Exhaust. It is required for him, while the Ignite, of course. And Talon is an interesting one. I remember speaking to Froggen about this one the other day, and he was just sort of talking about Talon is such a scary hit-and-miss champion to pick.
Yeah, exactly. It's very high risk, high reward. If you do get a few kills early on, you can just destroy the entire game alone, because you can one-shot all these squishes here from the side of Supa Hot Crew. And actually the hard part about Exhaust against Talon is he's often popping his ult before he actually joins the fight, so he's in stealth, which means you can't really exhaust him from the very first burst he can do. So you can always jump in, get a lot of damage off, and then you exhaust him for the next round of damage from the Talon. Therefore making it a bit hard to actually shut him down. And another reason why Supa Hot Crew really needs to be careful they don't give some early kills over to Kerp here. Because we have seen him in the past take control of the games on these Assassins, but we've also seen him, I wouldn't say lose the game alone, but we have seen him fall very far behind and have zero impact on Assassins too.
I see Kerp trying to keep that pressure on him. He has got a CS lead over Selfie so far. Top laners, we haven't seen a great deal between them because they've kind of been singled out 2v1 in. Kottenx is once again making his way up. This could be a 3v1 pile-on to Kevin in this top lane. He's stuck on that tower. He's going to have the help of Kottenx, but you can see KaSing now coming in there. Smites it away there, manages to get in. Impaler tried to set that up. Impaler tried to set up for KaSing there. He smited away the minion, but Dark Binding didn't get fired by KaSing.
No, I'm not sure why he delayed it, but Kottenx and Kevin still staying around. Let's see what KaSing can do now. And there it is.
Does manage to catch on towards him. Kottenx is going to get ignited, but it's not enough damage. MrRalleZ was not helping out. And simply put, it does just pull him away, but Kevin's returning. He is not too pressured by this one yet.
But he also really needs to farm, because down his bottom lane, Mimer has been able to just stand at his tower and get so much XP from all the waves. Again, it's going to push into him. He's level 5, Kevin only level 3 at this point, so he's falling behind in XP. He has to stay in the lane. Otherwise, he's going to be completely gone and completely out of the game, going to be too far behind in levels to do anything. So Mimer here, been doing a good job, and also Millenium, not been able to freeze the lane at any point, so Mimer's just been standing down here and picking up all this CS. Yes, okay, he doesn't have too much farm, but it's all about the XP now, all about hitting the level 6 point.
We'll delay them, but it's obviously going to be both of them delayed as well. Pulverized down there as he tramples on over the minions. Here's a good turnaround from Creaton, but he is about to hit 6, so you're not really going to kill that cow on his tower. Kerp heading down south just to get that pink ward down. We'll spot out and clear the vision that the Supa Hot Crew are in river.
And we have to remember with both these top laners, because they are utility champions, you can fall behind in terms of gold and still be very useful, because you provide either a lot of HP, shields, slows from Lulu, of course, the Whimsy, you have the knock-up engage potential from an Alistar, and 70% damage reduction. It's not really affected by your gold. It's going to be 70% damage reduction no matter what, which means even an Alistar can fall behind. However, the issue is that he needs to build Trinity Force if we're going to see him go the same route as Xaxus did on Alistar. And getting a delayed Trinity Force is not going to be good for him, because it's actually going to mean he won't be able to kill people alone in a one-on-one, and therefore make him a lot weaker and make him focus purely on just team fighting and be like this utility tank instead of actually a damage dealer.
Looks like he's having a great time according to the camera. Both of them look like they're really enjoying this 2v1 situation. I know I was speaking to a lot of top laners.
They all love it.
This is something
they really love it.
They don't enjoy too often. At the moment, though, Creaton doing a good job at holding it off.
Notice here 2 members from Supa Hot Crew down this bottom lane.
We're going to go in there. It's a pulverized headbutt on Jree, sends him into the tower. Of course, no damage was done, so the tower was not hitting him. Impaler catching on towards him. Have they got enough damage? KaSing comes in. They should take him down. It's Impaler with first blood.
Very nice setup here. Jree and Creaton felt very confident they could actually start hitting the tower. And Mimer just saw the opportunity. Instant flash Q, knocked him back into the tower here. And even though there was a flash from Jree, he just got right back into the face of the cow and couldn't actually escape here. So first blood from Supa Hot Crew. Nice little rotation from the top lane with both Impaler and KaSing to come down here and set up this play here. Now they're probably looking for standard lanes. Feel like they've gotten enough in this lane swap and can start doing normal lanes.
Well, Selfie is in trouble here. They're pouncing towards him. Kerp's going to jump on towards him, gets the silence down. The exhaust used from Selfie is not going to be enough. Shockwave does not go off because he died in time. And that was a simple kill for Millenium.
And it's always a little bit strange with Selfie. He seems to be the player in Europe who always end up being in the wrong place at the wrong time. I'm not sure why. In the quarterfinals as well, he was caught out of position so many times, right here as well. Walking out, Kottenx jumps him, he gets the slow in, and Kerp just joins in. Even though there was an exhaust, you see Kerp delaying his ulti and just pick up a kill here. And again, we keep talking about how you cannot give early kills to a Talon because he will be so strong going later into the game. And he's ahead in farm. He has the kill, got a blue buff as well. Kerp is looking pretty strong already.
Well, we see Impaler's going to try and counter this one. He's already heading straight over towards the blue. Dragon started off, in fact. They know that the smite is down on Kottenx, so they're going to try and burn this one down. He needs the help, though, of course. He's just doing it on his own with his little spiders. It is quite possible, but there's not a lot of help coming his way. He's got down half the hit points already. He should be able to take it. He's level 6, remember. And he's going to sneak it out.
This is very smart by Supa Hot Crew and KaSing. The reason he doesn't actually run to the Dragon and help Impaler is he want to return to the lane instantly. So Millenium doesn't actually expect Supa Hot Crew to be doing the Dragon, so they don't have like an estimated timer now. Because they saw KaSing run up into the lane. That's pretty normal to see someone going and deep ward in your jungle and just return instantly. No help on Dragon from KaSing. So Millenium at the moment don't actually know the Dragon has been taken. And that was just also a smart play because the two members from Millenium were at the blue buff. They saw Kottenx use the smite and also run towards the top side. So nice little pick up here from Impaler.
Well, we'll see how it works out for him. He's gone for the Fiendish Kottenx actually alongside the Spirit Sight Stone. So Selfie now coming back into the mid lane. Looks like it's going to be a potential Zhonya's first item for him. Of course, he did go Tear of the Goddess early on Oriana this time around.
So this is actually pretty smart because he needs the mana regen and he can stack it pretty fast. And instead of going Athenes, which gives him no armor, which means it's going to be useless against Kerp, it's actually smart to go Tear and then go into Hourglass. And once he has the Hourglass, he can survive the burst coming in from Kerp, of course. And down to this bottom lane, they swap back Supa Hot Crew, so we now have the 2v2 lane, still slightly in favor of Creaton and Jree. Even though Jree is actually only level 5 at this point, and KaSing is level 6.
Mimer's taking a bit of burst damage from Kevin there. Basic attack range over Mimer. Held on to both of their ultimates though, so nobody really going too deep on that one. MrRalleZ just farming out on towards his tower. Had pressured a little bit, but he's just going to clear this wave out and push back in. We just saw Creaton rocket jumping away, which tells me he's going to go back and buy. And for BF Sword, first item has got a little bit of gold on him. We'll see what he goes with. 900 gold, we'll go straight to a pickaxe.
Okay, so not actually building Static Shiv as his first item. We see a lot of AD carries, especially in Europe, do pickaxe a BF sword on your first back, depending on how much gold you have. And then second one, you actually build towards a Static Shiv, get the attack speed, and it's very smart to provide some extra wave clear. But this time around, Creaton feeling like he's getting enough farm in the lane to rush the Infinity Edge and get it as the very first item. And up in his top lane, Kevin really been controlling it on his Lulu, and we also see the reason for the Lulu pick into the Alistar, because he can bully him a bit in the laning phase.
Selfie taking a big rake there from Kerp. Darkbind in lands, but still fairly passive in the lane phase at the moment. It's kind of what I expected.
Needs to be careful.
Oh, he's going to walk straight in. Kerp fancies this one, pops the ultimate, gets the damage down, repels away. Selfie's going to come around. Defensive ball is ready for him, but look at that, the Ignite burning away on him. Has to flash away from this one. Got to be careful. The wave, is that going to catch him? I don't think it will. That's a pretty deep wave coming out from Jree. A little...
yeah, not really sure why Kevin didn't
presumptuous
actually...
maybe there.
Well, I'm not sure why Kevin didn't actually cancel his teleport as soon as Impaler was out of range. Because Mimer canceled his teleport, so it's going to be ready before.
They wanted to go for the dragon. Again, this is going back to it. Oh, yeah. This is what it was. They didn't know the dragon was there. They invested everything into that. Had no idea the dragon was there. And like you said, wasted teleport, everything. Everything was gained from Mimer there. Mimer actually was teleporting as well. I just he teleported to the top.
He just canceled the teleport, I believe, and then stayed in this top lane to get some extra farm and push it in. Which, yeah, of course, the dragon. Millenium was like, let's get a kill, let's get the dragon, get the goal lead. Impaler said no from before because he sneaked it on Elise. Something he actually does pretty often when he plays Elise. And we also see a little bit of difference here compared to Legacy Esport when they play Elise. And they have always built like Ancient Golem, Carbon as your first item. Impaler will always go Spectral Rage. Pretty much all LCS Elise will to get some early dual power with AP.
Impaler risking it there. Tower goes down, first one of the game for Millenium though. And that was Kerp doing the damage. So, as you mentioned, Millenium have no idea on the timer. They're going to have to keep that warded up on the dragon. That was taken for Impaler. And Impaler actually on Elise. It was a champion that basically he qualified with. It was one of the strongest champions he played right at the beginning, back in the Dignitas days when he was on Dignitas UK. before he moved across to Supa Hot Crew.
He was actually known to be a one-trick pony jungler who could only play Elise jungle. So after he played in the first 2 games against SK Gaming in the promotion tournament, and they actually banned it. And remember, of course, SK Gaming managed to win 3 games in a row and actually qualify. One of the reasons was the fact that Impaler didn't get Elise and didn't actually have an impact in any of the games after he was banned.
Talon going looking, Kerp took a cocoon, but still continuing the pressure. Remember, blue buff was stolen away by Kottenx on Millenium last time, so they have the timing on this one, and they are looking ready to try and take it once again. Impaler's feet going defensive. Meanwhile, Creaton down the bottom. Black Shield comes out. Creaton has to rocket jump away. No dark binding from KaSing. Could have gone for Soul Shackles and Ignite as well. Probably could have got the kill. But there was a heal for Creaton, so maybe not.
At least maybe they could have traded flashes for your support flash, for the AD carry flash, and then for the next team fight you could focus on trying to kill Creaton. Didn't actually want to be too aggressive. And we do see both teams, except for probably Kerp in this mid lane, be very, very cautious. Don't want to take any chances. Remember, again, if you do lose the game, or if you do lose the best out of 5, you are down to the promotion tournament. So nobody really taking any chances in this game for the first one. I'm sure it's going to speed up for the next few games, where people are like, okay, now we had our first games, the nerves are gone, let's really start playing the game.
Well, Millenium are starting to ward out the jungle of Supa Hot Crew, starting to take control of this. Look at Kerp waiting off the side. They want to jump on KaSing, and they may well be able to do it. Looks like he's not going to go fully committed on this one. Not going to flash engage. Supa Hot Crew come around defensive, and this is a tricky situation for Supa Hot Crew. When that first tower goes down in the mid lane, you have the mid lane, especially on a Talon, an assassin, that could roam, could keep pushing, and just keeps Supa Hot Crew guessing. I
would actually expect Kerp to buy mobility boots soon and start roaming between the lanes. And from what I've seen from his Talon in solo queue as well, he loves to build Infinity Edge as his 3rd item. Once he completes that, he's going to be so insanely strong and can just one-shot everyone. At this point, if he does jump someone like MrRalleZ or KaSing, he should be able to kill them as well.
Well, with the Dragon now spawned, Millenium see it, so timer advantage gone to Supa Hot Crew. Of course, vision advantage is very much in favor of Millenium because of this. Blue buff is being picked up by Selfie. Creaton once again rocket jumping away. KaSing not even close to landing that dark binding. There was a row of minions in his way. I'm not even sure why he tried to fire it off.
Well, Kottenx now clearing the ward here. So Millenium wants to control the river. Kerp was thinking about going down to this bottom lane. Decided to actually go back to mid lane. So once again, we are just in for a pretty long laning phase after the standards we normally see. It's been the last few weeks in the LCS. The teams have really started to be more aggressive, especially early game. We see a lot more action. But that's normally also when we have junglers like Jarvan being locked in, or Elise in, and we have all this early game action from these junglers. Impaler and Elise did have the first gank. He did pick up a kill, but then he's been pretty passive since, and I haven't actually seen Kottenx in the game yet.
And again, talking to Froggen about this, like the slowness, as you can tell, I have a lot of conversations with
you
Froggen.
Talk a lot with Froggen.
We do cross a lot of words while we're down the local establishment.
Local pub.
Local pub, basically. Basically, what he was saying is, like, obviously it's the same for a lot of European teams, SK and Alliance especially. It's simply put, they will farm to a certain point. Once they'll hit that item threshold, they go, okay, let's actually finish the game now. Now we're at this point, we know we can finish, and that's the strong point, and that's exactly, if you watch Alliance and SK Gaming do, it's exactly what they do. These teams try to mimic it, doesn't always work out for them. Millenium themselves generally better off with a pick comp, and it's kind of what they've got here this time around again.
And what they have here with Kerp, also some team fight, with it, because they do have the Lulu top lane. But when you have an assassin like Talon, you will always be some kind of a pick comp.
I just wonder how that's going to transition later in, say, world tournaments. Simple Dragon for Millenium there, keeps them on the edge in terms of gold. Blue buff, I think it's going to be kept. No, Kerp fancies it actually. I wasn't sure if Kottenx wanted to keep it, but Kerp comes in to steal it away. They've given up a lot of damage on that mid lane though, because they can see that duo pairing of Selfie and KaSing in there, putting the pressure back on him. Impaler just waiting off the side. They fancy a kill here.
Well, Impaler was actually doing Rave Camp instead of taking down. And this is where we see a massive difference also between... Oh, Kerp actually going in. Let's see what he can do.
There's going to be the Soul Shackles. He's not going to land. Selfie caught out by the wave. Kottenx puts Quick void spikes on towards him. Jree is going to follow. Millenium now, they have positional advantage, and you can see they're going to use this wave. They want to shove straight down the mid lane.
But really, this is where we see the difference between Rocket and Supa Hot Crew in the way they play the same comp. Impaler, for whatever reason, went into the jungle of Millenium to kill a Wraith camp instead of taking the mid tower. And if you look at the way Jankos always plays Elise for Rocket, it's always full focus on getting the towers down early game with the Elise. You go into the lane, you don't even gank, you walk straight into the lane, you push it up, and you start hitting the tower because you are ranged. Yet Impaler goes into the jungle, takes a Wraith camp, doesn't even kill the mid tower, even though they've lost their mid tower for like 10 minutes ago, would open up for Supa Hot Crew to get some deep ward themselves. So I really have to question the way he's playing this Elise at the moment. It's not as effective as Jankos, and also one of the reasons the game is so passive at the moment, because nobody's actually really pushing these towers.
Well, Trinity forces completed for Mimer and MrRalleZ. We'll see how that works out for them. Kevin will take down this top turret. It's the second one of the game for Millenium still. Supa Hot Crew yet to get one themselves, as we see Mimer trampling down the minions. We'll keep our eye on it. Creaton, of course, did go towards that Infinity Edge, as you mentioned. First item in. It looks like Kerp may well be doing the same. He's mentioned that his third item could well be an Infinity Edge. It's what he's been doing in the past. Mimer will get a little bit of free time to push on here. Kevin has yet to back. He's just taking away the golems. He wants a little bit of extra gold.
And still these junglers just been sitting and farming. Not really been looking for ganks, except for now maybe. Kottenx down his bottom lane. Fires W, and maybe actually going to see Millenium do the push now, where they can go in and just get a few hits on the tower. Otherwise, it was a very, very strange decision to run down, get the minions low. Obviously, they might just want Creaton to actually push the wave out so he could go back and to base, and just wanted to have like the wave reset. But he only has 700 gold, so it's not like he's going to go back and buy anything. And he took a lot of poke from actually going in and kill the minions. So we just have to say, from the first game, from the first 21 minutes, we do see why these teams did manage to beat Rocket and SK Gaming in the quarterfinals. Just at the moment, with the way they are actually playing, because it is very, very passive. There's no pushing towers, and Kevin was just allowed to sit in the top lane and take the tower. There was no help from Impaler as well to like kind of push him back. Now he's here, but the tower's already gone, so there's no reason for him actually to really move further out. So passive start, and Millenium got 2 towers for it because been no response from Supa Hot Crew yet.
Well, information given. They know the jungler is now down the bottom half of the map. That gives Impaler and Selfie free time to quickly get in and get their blue buff. It also means that MrRalleZ is going to step away, and that's going to be the third outer turret of the game. Millenium taking everything in the early stages, even in farm across the board, but all towers now down. Dragon already picked up as well, won the piece. So Millenium finally starting to group here. Impaler's in trouble.
Let's see, Kerp running straight at him. Did actually buy the ability boots we talked about before, so he can now roam between the lanes. I like the pickup for him, as long as he gets some kills.
Turning it around, he's going to have to use his stealth to try and get away from this one. Oh, Kerp, will he get the attack ball? Shockwave, no! He quickly uses a dodge straight on towards Kerp. He puts the exhaust down, flashes out, not enough time. All the jukes in the world are not going to save him there. Aqua Prison catches off Mimer. Mimer with that 70% armor reduction easily tanks out this one. And they will back away. Meanwhile, of course, the bottom turret went down. MrRalleZ and KaSing managed to get the first turret of the game for the Supa Hot Crew.
So the roam here from Kerp actually backfired because there were 3 members from Supa Hot Crew collapsed onto him. And Selfie managed to get the shockwave, get the rest of the team to actually kill him. And there was no one from Millenium who could respond in time. And also because Jree was roaming to this mid lane, the bot tower went down. So suddenly Supa Hot Crew, because they got a quick kill onto Kerp, because they had the roam, can now take the bottom tower, take the mid tower as well, and get some much needed gold. Because the first few minutes, or the first 20 minutes, has been like watching Supa Hot Crew against Rocket, where they just give up every single tower without doing anything.
Kottenx is going to be enough to clear out the wave. His sheer presence was enough to stop Mimer, so Mimer's going to back off from this one for now. So 3-2 in turrets, something quick 2 turrets. There's looks like money in the bank as well for Supa Hot Crew in that top lane. That equals things up in gold. Dead even between the 2 teams. Farm-wise, fairly close. Kerp is seemingly heading towards that Infinity Edge. You can see the critical crit cloak now in his bag. Meanwhile, it looks like Creaton is finally going to move across the static ship.
So he's actually getting it pretty late here. And although one of the reasons I would like to I like to see Static Shift as the first item with just like a pickaxe and a BF sword, because you can farm so much faster, you can push out the waves, and you can also get the jungle camps. And if the enemy team does push up to your towers, you have the extra wave clear now from the Static Shift. But let's see what's going to happen down this bottom lane. Kerp is sitting ready because there's a big wave pushing up from Supa Hot Crew. Was hoping someone like MrRalleZ would walk up to the juicy minions and then he would just jump him and kill him. Instead, though, we see 5 members from Supa Hot Crew on this dragon. We should see our very first team fight now.
It's going to be a fast dragon. You can see they're going to try and take it down quickly. Impaler is in position to smite this one out. The dragon will go before the team fight starts. Or will it? Kottenx jumps in, gets the smite. MrRalleZ in trouble. Kerp jumping on him, but he gets pounded in towards him. And that's a quick turnaround. So, mid lane are now down. Kevin taken low. Kottenx tries to come in, gets caught out with the down.
So many reasons here.
Pulverize comes out from Mimer. Mimer going to get focused on. Kottenx hits one, pounces in, gets a second, pounces in. Will he get the third? Yes, he will, and just pounces straight out. Oh, the captain surprise, gonna live as well. So Kottenx gets the steal and a triple kill. Big turnaround for Millenium.
Yeah, and you have resets on Kha'Zix. You have it on Tristana here. Kerp actually walked around Supa Hot Crew. We're just going to see it again. Kerp is not part of these 4 members from Millenium. He's behind, jumping MrRalleZ, doing so much damage to both him and KaSing. Meanwhile, the rest of Millenium taking the fight. Everyone from Supa Hot Crew is kind of panicking at start because their AD carry dropped so low. He's like, oh my god, Kerp is behind us. So everyone kind of backs away and moves over to try and kill Kerp. They do get him down, but it means the rest of Millenium can just clean up now, get the resets. I was looking at Creaton here, completely forgot about Kottenx jumping in. He got all the resets and picked up all the kills.
And still gets away. So 3-0-2 Kottenx making the difference.
Now we just need to see some more fights, especially with the early kills here now from Millenium. With the dragon taken as well, they do have the goal lead. Infinity is completed for Kerp here. So now I really want to see Millenium start forcing some fights and just blow up people.
A Black Cleaver also picked up by Kottenx as well. So expect basically Kottenx and Kerp to just be jumping on MrRalleZ. And without a Thresh to help him out there, he is in a dangerous, dangerous position. He could well be singled out and taken down. Millenium now back to buy. Getting a couple of items. Kevin almost got that death cap complete. You can see MrRalleZ also in his bag. A lot of pings going down here. Kottenx will wipe out and give the red buff to Kerp. Yep. So he wants to keep the slow on him. Just
critting for 1,000 already, 26 minutes in on the poor red buff. We also saw in the last fight here, Mimer and Alistar was like, should I go in alone to the backline of Millenium or should I try and go back and help my AD carry? So you actually end up standing in the middle of the fight and doing nothing. So there was not really any front line from Supa Hot Crew. It was easy for Millenium to poke everyone down and then actually jump straight to the backline after and finish up everyone and get the kills. Which can be a big issue for Supa Hot Crew because they have to have the shockwave from Selfie or the ball from Selfie on Mimer when he goes in if they want to try and one-shot someone like Creaton. Otherwise, there's nobody who's going to dive the back line other than Mimer here, and he's not going to be able to kill Creaton alone in these fights, especially not with the fact that Kevin is there on the Lulu.
And with the delay, Mimer, of course, had to go towards, it seems like, was he going to go Rundians first? Frozen
Mimer, he's going to go Frozen Heart.
Frozen Heart, but he's not going to go Static Shift, which is kind of what he needs to keep basically Kevin in check, who's about to complete his Rabadon's death cap and will quite easily split push if needed. As you mentioned, the utility that he offers as well could just simply make Kottenx or Kerp a gigantic leaping assassin.
Yep, for sure.
And now they're just going to push straight down mid. Supa Hot Crew well out of position here.
Just another reason why Millenium should just go be aggressive now and look for the fight. MrRalleZ has no flash, so once Kerp jumps him, he's not going to get away. Like, he has to stay there and take the fight and hope the rest of his team is there to help him and kill Kerp. He's not going to be able to run. So Millenium right now should just look for this fight and look for some towers and go straight for MrRalleZ, one-shot him, or at least force all the cooldowns from Supa Hot Crew, and then let Creaton and Kottenx once again clean it up with the resets. And man, I really like this Lulu pick against Alistar as well, because it makes it so hard for Mimer to dive in the team fights, and also the laning phase was heavily in favor of Kevin once they swap back to one-on-one.
Just turn him into a Pix and basically does nothing for a couple of seconds. It is getting a little split push on though, so he will take that tower down. The question is, will they lose this inner turret while they try and pick up that one? He has got teleport available if he's really needed to quickly spring into action. He is going to continue pushing. Kerp is hoping and waiting, and he's going to catch somebody out of the side there. Selfie is actually playing it wise and going wide around this one. He has got a pink ward. I don't think he can see that. Yes, he cannot. Cannot see Kerp's ward, nor can Kerp actually see the pink ward either. So neither gaining from anything there. Top lane didn't continue pushing. We are going to see Mimer moving down here, so it's going to be 5 members of the Supa Hot Crew now. Dark Binding catches on Kevin. No follow-up, but Creaton took a lot of damage. Cocoon follows onto Kevin, but again, Supa Hot Crew don't want to risk it, and they are playing very cautiously on their tower.
And again, they only have the cow to really jump in here. He's actually going for it. Jree out of position.
Jree out, gets the wave off, but it doesn't really make any impact. We do see Kottenx taking some damage. They've got vision on towards him. He's going to pounce away. KaSing, will he fire a blind? No, he will not. He'll just carry on walking behind them. Has he got Moby boots? He has. He should be able to catch on towards him, but a good glitter lance from Kevin will slow everything down. They have got a gigantic wave in the top. If anyone wanted to quickly go up and deal with it, maybe Mimer could quickly teleport up there and try and push it. But instead, they're going to try and follow this wave through and go for an inner turret of their own.
But how on earth did Jree just die here? He has flash. Must have been hit by Cocoon and then binding after. Otherwise, binding it's so easy to dodge around with the flash.
Selfie forcing the ultimate out of Creaton there.
No, Kerp died too.
Sorry. Kerp just died.
So every time we don't look at Millenium, they die.
Well, there we go. Now we know the answer of helping Supa Hot Crew. Yeah. Just don't watch them.
Don't look at them at all. Just look in the base, and we're just going to see kills for Supa Hot Crew here. Let's see the replay. So Kerp jumping in onto MrRalleZ.
Oh, wow.
Remember, he had no flash.
That was over-aggressive.
He's alone.
I don't know what he was thinking there, honestly. That was suicidal.
It's a bit of like, you know...
Dragging up in 3 seconds, Impaler's like, no, it's up, it's up. Nobody's believing him. It's like, no, trust me, it's coming.
Yeah, but look at the Baron here. Millenium instantly moving in because the rest of the Supa Hot Crew is on the Dragon.
And they have no idea of it, no vision of it.
Mimer coming.
No clue that it's coming. Now Mimer's moving up there. Have they got the damage to take it down quick enough? It doesn't look like it. They're going to have to peel away. And they can see that the Baron was damaged. Supa Hot Crew, though, simply the presence of the bull was enough to force them away.
So Supa Hot Crew got a few kills, got the Dragon here. Very strange decision from Kerp going in 1v4 and just end up actually giving the Dragon because of it. Him going in to die here. So once again, we're kind of going back a little bit to the passive style. Millenium tried to force something. They wanted to get a bot lane tower. Didn't work out. Jree ended up dying first, even though he had flash and he got hit by Cocoon or binding. From max range, I mean, you have to flash it. Don't even take the chance. Unless, of course, it was Mimer who engaged onto him. We didn't actually get to see it. No matter what, he should have flashed away from it.
At the moment, Impaler and Crew all in the mid lane. Let's see if they keep on pushing on this one. They're going to try and sweep out and get some ward coverage over at the Baron area. It will, of course, mean that they should be able to take out all the pink wards there. Except Mimer's just going to... Oh, there he does. He does spot it. No? Yeah, he does finally give it out. So, top lane being shoved in. MrRalleZ is going to push that one through. Are Millenium just going to blanket ignore them and push straight for the mid inhib?
Seems like once again, Millenium want to try and siege up a tower, even though Creaton is going to be the main guy to hit it. And they can always get a few hits, so in that case it works out because they have Kevin as well with some range auto attacks. Let's see what's Selfie here. Oh, Kerp just going to run away. Oh,
Kerp caught out. Shockwave, exhaust will get taken down. It's going to be Impaler that picks up the kill on him. They could keep chasing on this one. Millenium backing off once again. Will they take this opportunity with a 40-second death timer to rush straight for Baron?
So you had this perfect start on your Talon. He got early killed. He had Infinity Edge completed at 26 minutes into the game. And then what you've been doing for the last 10 minutes is basically run around, get caught, both Jree and Kerp now twice, die, give Supa Hot Crew the advantage all of a sudden, let them farm up even more, let them get to a late game point as well, where MrRalleZ and Selfie can really start to carry the game. So, very, very strange play by Millenium.
Yeah.
Now they want a base race.
Gonna push in there. They will manage to get some damage on this one, but they can't really tank that one through. Kevin, don't know what he was thinking there. He
was like, didn't have any minions.
Yeah, got no minions. Guys, we can tank it. No, we can't. We can't. It's not going to work out for us. So it does delay his Supa Hot Crew though. Oh, that's a great dark binding catching on towards Jree. Is they going to get follow through here? They're going to keep the pressure on. He can just follow him through. You can see MrRalleZ coming around. If they can land another dark binding, it's going to be coming off cooldown. Forces the flash from Jree. They're going to continue pursuing on this one. KaSing going deep on this one. Will follow on through. Will he be able to land a third binding? Oh, if it had stepped to the side, Creaton was there instead. It's just going to force them out of position. And they are back to clearing the waves.
All right, so while it did look a little bit funny, Millenium running down to the tower for Mimers, it did actually make Supa Hot Crew instantly recall from the top lane. So while there were 5 members and Kerp was dead, they didn't actually manage to take a Baron or push a tower. So in that case, a small win for Millenium. But I can definitely see what Carbon was talking about with the more passive approach we normally see, or sometimes see here in Europe. The last few weeks we actually have seen a lot of aggressive games in Europe, but this one definitely goes into the passive book. And
still very even though.
Yeah, very even, but very different compared to
one of the goal difference, 1 killer difference. It's everything still stacked up right now, moving into the as we approach the 40th minute soon enough. Remember, we had a 67-minute Supa Hot Crew game against Roccat. Could they go that distance? I'm not too sure. There's a lot of explosiveness in between these teams, and Millenium, if they can catch on to someone, they can get kills, that's for sure. But the control that Supa Hot Crew seem to have in these team fights is causing them some serious problems.
Yeah, and there's going to be a lot of armor stacking from Supa Hot Crew going into the late game, where Kevin is the only magic damage, which is going to make it even harder for Millenium to take someone down. And they don't really have a tank either, because Kottenx is building full damage. He's going to build some tank now, but it's not going to help him just have like 1 tank item, which means in the late game team fights with all the shields from Supa Hot Crew, with the ulti from Mimer and all the armor they can build, it's going to be hard to do anything, and they're going in.
Headbutt pulverized, goes in towards Kevin and just destroys him. Impaler's going to repel, he's going to still survive from this one. Well, he's going to drop down, is he going to be alive? He survives as well, gets out of there. Creaton, quick pulverize from Mimer, brings it back in. Kerp goes deep on this one, way too deep. And Selfie gets the defensiveness down, and Supa Hot Crew with a shockwave flashed out of both Creaton as well. Kottenx is going to avoid this one, so it's a 2 for 0 so far, and the Supa Hot Crew this time, they fancy backing off again. Why?
Still though, the aggression here from Mimer. As soon as Millenium showed himself at the tower, he just flash queued, knocked back Kevin, killed him. Kerp once again tried to jump into the back line. Instantly, 5 members from Supa Hot Crew just collapsed onto him, kill him. And a bit of a split decision also from Kerp. First he wanted to kill Impaler, then he went for MrRalleZ and didn't actually end up killing any of them. And he's gone from being the 1-0 great start to actually die 5 times in a row now.
Well, we talked about nerves earlier on, the fact that you've just got 2 kills, you've got 2-0, you've got a choice of any lane, maybe a Baron, who knows. 5 members alive, a healer, lots of shields. Let's go back to base, guys. Let's just play it safe.
You need farm. You don't have time to go Baron, mate. You have to go farm.
Apparently so. Kevin is doing a good job farming, honestly. He's out farming the cow.
They were a little bit low. Could have maybe been risky, but it's definitely taking the top tower.
Definitely could have pushed and taken at least something, maybe on towards the inhibitors, because Millenium, they had 3 members that were surviving, did take that top tower, but we can see, of course, a 2-man potential Baron coming out here. Darkbinder does not land the Kottenx. Selfie, Mimer, and KaSing all trying to run interference on this one. Instead, Impaler goes for it. Kottenx is going to have to use that stealth, but he gets caught out with a cocoon. Drops away. Shockwave pulls him straight back, and that is the jungler down for Millenium.
Kerp is here, though. Once again, he's behind Supa Hot Crew. He wants a piece of MrRalleZ. Nice, juicy Danish beef. But now, though, he's not been able to get it.
Well,
can't touch it.
Creaton is going to have the range, or is he? He's going to have to come back around the side there. Jree winding up the wave. He manages to land an Aqua Prism, but it's on Mimer. Does next to no damage, Creaton, on the cow right now. His bovine hide is enough to keep him away. Takes a little bit of punishment. The ball backs into their face. Remember, Shockwave is down, not available, but that Baron is dropped, and the Supa Hot Crew get themselves that secured.
And this has basically been Supa Hot Crew in the start being very passive and lose a lot of towers, fall behind in gold, gave the kill also to Kerp. But then as soon as if we do ignore the very first team, but let's just see it again here, onto Kottenx. It's going to be all about the shockwave from Selfie coming in to actually stop him in midair, and also the knock up from Mimer. So Kottenx tried to jump away, completely denied, and then back onto the Baron here. But if we just ignore the very first Dragon fight, which went in favor of Millenium, ever since, it's just been Millenium being caught out of position again and again and again. Fall behind, and now Supa Hot Crew just running. 5 members all the time. No split pushing here. You don't need it. You can just run 5 members, keep looking for picks with their Alistar, with their Elise and Morgana combo, and they've been finding them.
I think Impaler's just had a pause to say, guys, did you just see what I did there? I repelled and cocooned him while he was stealth.
Repel and cocoon.
Well like, I did that. I got the Baron and the Dragon for my team. I just wanted us to pause it and take a moment.
And he's more
to celebrate
now.
Yes, Sue, did you see this? Did you see this?
Impressive the girl.
She's like, yeah, I saw it. I saw it. It's amazing. Well done, Impaler. So, quick gather across the items. Baron buff now on Supa Hot Crew. It's going to have around about 3.5 minutes because they've just went and took the Dragon down. So, they have the kill advantage. They have the tower advantage. They have the gold advantage. Can they push through and finish? Because it seems for Millenium, they've left this lane phase. They took all the 3 outer towers. They were 3-0 up in towers, but they seem basically lost because there is no one to pick off for Supa Hot Crew. They're moving around as a group. And
also just every single time Supa Hot Crew seems to fire a skill shot towards Millenium, they catch someone and either force a flash from them or actually straight up kill them. And then they take Dragon and then they can move on to take a tower and get all the gold they need. And now also they got so much armor. I mean, look here, both Impaler and Mimer getting a lot of armor, making it even harder now for the 3 physical damage members from Millenium to actually kill anyone. And you do have an Alistar, so Supa Hot Crew can push up to a tower and just dive straight onto Millenium if they want to. We saw them do it in the top lane. They can do it here. They have the lead, push straight up, put the ball on this Alistar, let him jump into the back line of Supa Hot Crew, pop the shockwave, the back line of Millenium, pop the shockwave and become the hero.
Well, speaking of Alistar, has been involved in 100% of the fight so far. 9 assists on Mimer so far. And of course, Mimer, you know, there was a lot of pressure on him. He was in the losing situation in this match last time, pulling out the fantastic Yorick.
It didn't even work in scrims. Didn't even work. But that was actually...
Can we just show the world what your face was like when Yorick was picked?
I actually started crying. I was a bit like, fine, Yorick it is.
Yorick.
And then we lost.
And then you lost.
It wasn't actually Mimer's fault. He played pretty well. It was just Yorick at that point, unless you were called. So
was obviously ahead of his time because Yorick now is a legit pick in that lane. Nonetheless, we are back in the game. Supa Hot Crew have resumed and Millenium are behind. What will they do with this Baron? They're going to have around about 3 minutes. They're all going back to base, spending their well-earned gold, and we do see Spirit Visages coming out. Frost Queen has been upgraded as well. Impaler going for Frozen Heart, so tankiness coming out of him. Infinity Edge also picked up by MrRalleZ, so lots of damage and tankiness suddenly stacking out. Their team fighting ability will be very strong coming into this next game. And thinking of Creaton, the damage he was trying to put down on Mimer barely touched him in that Baron pit.
Yeah, for like the 6 seconds we have the ulti running from Mimer. There is pretty much no reason to hit him, but often, sorry, the 7 seconds, you often just don't have a choice because he's going to be right in your face. So it's really where Supa Hot Crew has a lot of time to kill whatever member from Millenium actually jumping in. It's also one of the reasons Kerp has just been jumping in kind of alone, and they could just collapse on him because Mimer was taking all the damage anyway. And in that case, it's been working out in their later stages of the team fights. But it's still just more about Millenium being caught out of position again and again and again and give up the entire lead they had.
You could also argue that Kerp's gone a little bit too deep.
Maybe just a little bit. Then again, MrRalleZ is a very good-looking guy, so I don't blame him for jumping towards him. I would have
tasty target, but honestly,
he is a tasty target.
As a Talon,
he's a bit skinny though.
This is the problem with the Talon. And honestly, against the team comp that is running right now, you're going to go in there and you 100% are going to get crowd controlled. There's no doubt about it. You need to try and pick off a juicy target, but there's no one doing the long-range poke, the long-range damage to get those juicy targets. Instead, they're just going to push through. Millenium are going to have to give up this tower. You can see they're already backing away.
It definitely makes it harder for Kerp, but I honestly feel Kottenx needs to just jump in with him and commit 2-3 members at once. Maybe even see someone like Creaton go full aggressive, jump past Mimer if he can, because these targets will drop so low once all the burst wins from Kerp. But it's of course, it's never anything you want to do as an AD carry, jump into the middle of the team fight. You want to get a kill first, or you want to kill the front line first. So it makes it very hard for Creaton in these team fights.
It worked for Holy Phoenix. That's all I'm saying.
It did sometimes. He also ended up dying a few times.
He did, but he also got the pentakill, so that's what counts. We'll see whether anyone from Millenium can do the same. I know, right? So this tower's going to go down. Millenium, they have to give up on this one. I mean, they're up against the Baron up team that's beaten them in the last 2 team fights already, so not too sure what they were hoping to achieve. They're just trying to poke down, do anything, but the regen is too strong. Selfie, will he put himself out of position while this is all happening? Mimer, he's working through that mid lane. He's putting the pressure down. Selfie's just going to rotate across, and now he'll start hammering down on that mid turret, which is already going to drop. And Millenium losing 2 inhibitor turrets with this one Baron. Oh, Cocoon lands on Kottenx, followed by JTC with that Dark Binding. He will just be able to leap out in between the timer, but that's going to be the first inhib down. Second one, also just to the right-hand side, is free. Creaton caught out, taken very, very low. Jree caught out. Now he Dark Binding, pulverize on towards him, trample through there, but he doesn't manage to get the damage down. They don't get the kill. Kottenx trying to get the resets in with the Dark Binding. Will catch on. He will be the first man to fall for Millenium. Now we see Kerp going in. Gets one. Does not get the other, though. But he manages to take down the cow of all things. Supa Hot Crew, they may back out of this one.
But we just see the thing we just talked about before. Supa Hot Crew can just walk straight into the base and look for the fight. So Millenium were forced to back away from their own tower, give up the inhibitors, and potentially even the game right here.
Whoa! Flash shockwave from Selfie. Flashy moves indeed. Takes down Jree. That could be the game, and Supa Hot Crew are going to go through in this best of 5. Creaton, the damage on him is huge. Supa Hot Crew take the game. They are 1-0 up in the series.
So a bit of a shaky start from the Supa Hot Crew. Reminded me a lot about the Rocket game where they gave up all the outer turrets very early on and didn't really seem to have any response until they managed to get a pick, got some towers themselves, did then lose a dragon fight, but from there on out, it was just all about Millenium being caught out of position, lose the entire lead. Kerp tried to 1v5 a few times. It might work in solo queue, but against a team who's playing so safe and so coordinated like Supa Hot Crew did in the team fights, it's not going to work. No,
fantastic stuff. So, it took them a while to get going, no doubt about it.
That's safe to say.
4,000 gold lead for Millenium as well, we should not forget, in that game. So they managed to turn that game around very well with a couple of well-earned team fights and a little bit of suicidal play from Kerp, diving in on 4 members, no problem.
Just a little bit, but it was, again, the idea behind the comp from Supa Hot Crew was like, okay, we're really strong in team fights. Just get the needed items, get some armor, get especially the hourglass and Selfie. Then we can start looking for team fights. So while it was passive and it's not too passive in my opinion, it was too easy for Millenium to get these towers down. Impaler had no impact in the early game. But as soon as they had the items they want, got the team fights we talked about where they had a very strong comp and just picked up the kills they needed. So it worked out for Supa Hot Crew. Need to be careful though, because in the next game, if they do fall behind 4,000 gold again, and Millenium decides not to be caught out and decides to actually engage as a team, they might end up just losing the game.
So where do we see Millenium going in this position? You've been there, 1-0 down. Do you think, do we change things up?
We won the first game.
You did win the first game and then you...
And then we just lost.
Okay then, so you've not been there.
No, we were like, yeah,
but just put yourself in that position.
Yeah.
If you are 1-0 down, do you change things up? Do you stick to your theory? Because clearly coming into this game, obviously they've had a plan. The game plan was to get something secretive like Talon going, but it hasn't worked.
No, so honestly, with Millenium's comp here, the way they played it in the start, the first 20 minutes, I wouldn't actually change anything in that case because it worked out. You got the lead, Kerp looked strong in the mid lane, Kevin was bullying Mimer up in the top lane, one-on-one after they swapped back here. So in that case, it worked out for Millenium. It was just, I don't know if it was nerves, it was just losing focus. That was the reason they lost. They kept trying to like 1v5 or get caught out again. So it's not necessarily your strategy, because it's never your strategy to say, let's get caught out. I mean, it's not. So in that case, they probably don't have to change a lot, but they might still look at some of the picks here from Supa Hot Crew and say, okay, the Oriana in the mid lane was annoying to deal with there. In the team fights, maybe we want to take it away or what they want to target. I mean, there's no reason to go for the jungle picks at the moment.
So what about Supa Hot Crew? They stole Rockat's tactic and it worked well for them.
It worked well in team fights.
Yes.
Still issues in the early game, so they have some stuff to talk about. Both teams, the comps worked at different times in the game. They had some good moments, they had some bad moments. So in that case, they could probably stick to the same comps and just try and fix the issues and see who does the best and fastest.
And of course, this is a best of 5, ladies and gentlemen. It's still the 5th place position. The loser of this best of 5 will go down to relegation. Of course, there's a number of teams that they can choose from when they get down there. They will have the first pick. But SK Prime, H2K, and the Unicorns of Love all looked very good in the Challenger Series playoffs.
And the only team who looked to be just like, I mean, you can say they were pretty close in terms of the skill level, except for H2K probably being the best team. But then you have Unicorns of Love and SK Prime, both looking very good, and I'm not sure who to choose.
No, I wouldn't know who to choose either. So let's send things